Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lake County Sentinel Entertainment Extra Beyond the Gates recap for week 28 of the best soap opera on television. Wow, what a week. What a week. A lot of stuff happened, and I thought that, some significant things were going on this week to set up stuff for the future. Right at the end today, though, we had the meeting at the country club. It was the last 15 minutes of the show, somewhere in there, where Leslie / Dana / Leslie, whatever her name is, actually showed that she had a little bit of a heart. And Anita actually, said, all right, and told her a little bit about her mom, Barbara. So I thought that was a good moment. I don't think that it's going to lead to, them accepting Leslie anytime soon, especially Nicole. You think about it, and you think about how stubborn Nicole is with the divorce and all that stuff. She doesn't even want to hear anybody else. Look, Kat's her daughter. Boy, what a shock. What a shock that Kat is just as bad. Kat's the same way. So I was kind of disappointed, that they went that route and had Ted sleep with Leslie. But like why do you care? You're ignoring him. So obviously Cole still cares about Ted. She said to him that she loved him. But, but now she says, oh, more for me to use in court. Well, not really, because you filed divorce papers. She told him it was over. Okay. She humiliated him in front of her family. So it was over. And I don't think that she'll be able to use that in court. Of course, she thinks she will because she thinks she's perfect. But so I think that kind of stuff, I still believe Ted and Nicole will get back together. I thought that, since she found out about Leslie Dana, and we're just going to refer to her as Leslie from now on, because the Dana thing, no. Her as Leslie always. She's as crazy as ever. Will it change her a little bit? What Anita said? Yeah, I doubt it. Not enough. She's always going to be. What you like about the character of Leslie is that she's crazy. Every soap needs some crazy people on it. Every soap needs, a bitch, like Kat. That's what they need, or a tramp bitch like Haley. And this show has them, but I hope they don't soften Leslie too much, because it's fun. It's fun watching her be just out and out crazy. I think, like I said, I will end with the Ted, Leslie, Nicole triangle. I think that they will get back together, Ted and Nicole, eventually, and that's just pretty much what I think. Eva was pretty pissed. She was pissed at Ted, and then she, realized Ted was, in a bad spot. Her mom took advantage of it again. And so now by today, she's realized that, her mom was acting like a fool, like she has so many times in the past. But speaking of Eva, well, is Eva about to take advantage of her chance with Tomas? I really think she's going to, and I think it's going to happen now. Kat pretty much burned the bridge. Kat is not a nice person. Let's face it. Kat is not a nice person. She is not a nice human being. The character is she's not a nice human being. Colby Muhammad does a great job as Kat, because let me tell you something. She is a witch. She is a soap opera witch. She is a witch that the character, as long as this soap goes, she's got a chance of being on this show for a long time. Colby Muhammad, or if she decides to leave and they recast at some point, which, I hope they don't, because she's good in the role. Kat is a rotten person. Kat is very similar to, maybe not as, now she's very selfish. So I'm going to compare Kat to Erica Kane. And she's very similar to Erica Kane, from All My Children, portrayed by Susan Lucci for all those years. I think that Kat is that. Selfish. Nobody else really matters. It's all about her. So I think that she finished it with Tomas. I think that if Tomas goes back to her, he's just weak, because there's no way, after what she said to him, I believe that was yesterday, there's no way that he should ever, I would never talk to her again if I was him. She's a rotten person, telling him he was bad in bed. Well, how does she know? She was supposedly a virgin before she got with him, so how does she know? For one, okay? I mean, she's just not a nice person. Oh, it couldn't be her fault. No, it could never be Kat's fault. But that's Nicole and Ted's fault, the way they raised her, too. Let's face it, Kat is a Nicole clone. Everything's about Nicole. Nicole is perfect. It's never her fault. It's everybody else's fault. And Kat is the exact same way. So I felt bad for Tomas yesterday. And I like how he just walked out. That was it. I was very surprised that he didn't go right to Eva, but he will. He will. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before him and Eva. He needs to go to somebody like Eva, somebody who actually gives a crap about him. Not like this, not like Kat. She is a selfish, rotten person. And Tomas is better off without her. Danny and Andre leaving for Paris. Oh, I thought they were going to Paris. They were not. They're going to Las Vegas. What's going to happen there? Are they going to get married? I don't think it will last if they do, but I wouldn't be stunned. Or I also was thinking, because they talked about weather and they were delayed, is there going to be a plane crash? I'm wondering about that. So something's got to happen in Vegas. They're not just going to Vegas. They say they're going to go to Vegas and then they're going to come back. All of a sudden they'll be back. No. There's either going to be a plane crash or they will be getting married there. I would not be stunned if they end up getting married there and they just come back and surprise, we're married. I wouldn't be stunned. So, and I think that's what Anita was thinking too when Vernon told her they were headed to Vegas. She said, "No, then that worries me." So I think that they might end up getting married. Who knows? I'll tell you what, Doug. I don't blame him for being mad that Vanessa's having the affair with Joey, even though he knows that she's had affairs before. But I think that this has to end badly for somebody at some point. This can't continue the way it is. Now that Doug has gone to Bill and Bill talked to Doug or talked to Joey, I think this is going to end badly for Doug. Doug is a secondary character, I feel like. And if Doug were to get killed off, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I just don't think it would be that big of a deal. His character isn't that interesting. There's really not a lot interesting about Doug. He's kind of a boring character, and I think that I feel like this is going to end with Doug getting murdered or killed off. Maybe he'll disappear. Something's going to happen. I just don't think Doug is long for Fairmount Crest. So it's I was happy to see June this week, and to see Samantha go to her for advice. I like that. June working at Orphe Jeans now. I think that's good. I think they made a good decision having her get a job there. She can be one of those waitresses that you go to a place and you don't forget, because she makes you feel happy. She makes you feel mad, like you matter. And it's good for her too, June, being out in the world. She's got a job. She's living at the shelter now. I thought she was going to disappear after the kids said they didn't want to see her anymore. I thought the character was going to disappear. But I like that they still have her there, and I like that she's working at Orphe Jeans, and that Samantha went to her for advice, and that the dads were okay. Smitty and Martin were okay with that. Terrell was not. Terrell was very angry about it. And but I like that. I like that they kept June around. And I don't know how much they'll develop June. If they'll ever give June a romantic partner or anything, but I like the character of June. She is a simple character, and she's not glamorous or anything like that. And I like those kind of characters on soap operas, because let's face it, not everybody's glamorous. They're not. And so June is a very likable character. She's overcome a lot, and her drug addiction and all that. So still on the show. There's some other things, the Bill Haley, Danny thing. How will, if Andre and Danny do get married in Vegas, how's Bill going to feel about that? And if he's jealous about that, how's that going to affect Haley? So I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I feel like the Ashley Andre stuff is not done, because what's going to happen here is Sinise is trying to convince Derek, you got to tell Ashley that you have feeling in your legs, that you've got some feeling there. It may not matter, she said, but you have to tell her. I feel like Derek is afraid that if he tells Ashley, she's going to leave him. She'll go back to Andre. I think he thinks she's with him just for sympathy, but I don't think so. I think what happened was Ashley realized that, as she said this week to somebody, Derek is her person. And I really believe that. And I think that, Derek needs to realize that Ashley is there for him because she loves him, not because she feels bad for him. The accident made her realize that she loved him. So I hope Derek doesn't hold it, not tell her the truth. I hope he tells her soon, because the longer he waits, the more, discipline. I mean, look, she's fragile anyway. Mentally, she loses her mind and goes in 17 directions over anything. So this could be the same type of thing if she doesn't know, if he doesn't tell her and he keeps it from her. It's going to be bad, and it could drive her back to Andre, because she'll think Derek didn't trust her. Of course, they'll both think the wrong things, Derek and Ashley, because that's what they always do. So, but there's, a lot went on this week, and a lot will go on next week. And as I've said in the past, that's what makes this show great, is that it's action-packed. I think what I'm going to put together next week is, I've been talking about it for a while. What we're going to do is we'll have the show, make what's going to happen next. Like I do, we'll just talk about Fairmount Crest. But I think also we're going to start, I talked about it a while back, and I think I'm going to do it, where we will reminisce about an old soap opera that may not be on TV anymore. And we'll do one a week. Maybe we'll talk about it for 5 minutes, maybe 10, no more than 10. But I think what we'll do is maybe we will pick shows that are no longer on. We're not going to talk about anything that's on currently. The Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives, General Hospital. The fact that those are the only soaps on TV makes me sad, besides Beyond the Gate. I remember the days when I think there were, in my lifetime, I think at one point there were 18 soap operas on TV during the day. And, now we're down to 5. Hopefully that changes. Hopefully we get some more. But, daytime, nighttime, nighttime soaps were great. Days of Our Lives, Dallas, Knots Landing, Dynasty, Falcon Crest, short-lived Behringers, which I really enjoyed a lot. That was on NBC. But I think we'll do that too. We'll talk a little bit about some old soap operas that are no longer on, and how we can compare some of the things that happened on those shows to what's going on Beyond the Gates. People who are on Beyond the Gates were on some of those shows. Carla Mosley, she was on Guiding Light. Daphne Duplass, she was on One Life to Live, and I think she may have been on a couple other soaps. I just read about her recently. I can't remember, but I know she was on One Life to Live. Others too. I think that, obviously John Lindstrom plays Joey Armstrong. He's been on pretty much every soap opera that's ever aired on television, even the ones before he was alive. But, he's been on he's everywhere. He was on Rituals. He played Brady Chapin. He replaced the original Brady Chapin. And that was 1984-85 TV season. One year that was that was a syndicated soap opera. So, there's comparisons to a lot of old soaps, that compare to Beyond the Gates and what goes on in Fairmount Crest. I like today that they added some real life into it. And Joey Armstrong mentioned to Bill, one of the things they have in common is they root for the Commanders, the Washington Commanders. I do not, Fairmount Crest does not have a baseball team. So I still root for my Cleveland Guardians, who are in a playoff race right now. So I love sports. So I like when maybe they bring up sports on a soap opera. I feel like mixing things, mentioning everyday life things that the viewers experience, helps make the characters more real too. But, you know, a lot of most of us everyday lives, we do not live like the characters in Fairmount Crest. Well, maybe we live like Ava or Danny, not Danny, Dana, have, you know, or even June, sadly, you know. But it's just a good show. And I feel like it's so well done. They've got a great production team. One of these weeks, we have to talk about their production team, who they have, who the writers are, who created it. You know, we have to talk about that because they did a great job. This show is so enjoyable. I love watching it every day. It goes so fast. Like today, the last half hour went so fast, I didn't even realize it was almost over. You know, and when it ended, I had 1 minute to get to the set here to do the show. So it's just such a good show. I can't believe we're in the 28th week. It's 30 weeks since it came on, because remember, they've given it 2 weeks off, which I still don't understand why CBS does that. What's going to happen at Christmas time or Thanksgiving? You know, I mean, those were the times where I feel like if it was going to get a hiatus, it would be during those times. They're at a critical stage where they can't have viewers forget about it or find something else to do. This show is picking up an audience. It's blowing away the show that was the talk that was in this time spot before. It's blowing it away. I think it's more than double the viewership. I'm pretty sure it has from what I heard. And I also saw that it's beating General Hospital, which is the competition in that time slot. So the fact that it's doing that is really, really good. I mean, General Hospital's had an audience for years, but General Hospital, in my opinion, or as the millennials like to say, in my humble opinion, I forget the initials, what they are for that, but in my humble opinion, General Hospital has slipped so badly that before Beyond the Gates came on, I turned it on a couple times, and it's so bad that I just can't even watch it. It is nothing like it used to be. It's not the General Hospital I grew up with. Beyond the Gates is so much better than General Hospital at this point. Anybody who wants something refreshing and watches General Hospital needs to turn the dial. Well, nobody turns the dial anymore. Press the remote to your local CBS station or Paramount Plus and watch Beyond the Gates. You can actually watch both now. That's with technology today. But it's just so much better than General Hospital. General Hospital is terrible now. Beyond the Gates is such a good show compared to that. And John Lindstrom being on here, you know, he left General Hospital. He came on here. And so next week, we will start talking about an old soap opera that is no longer on the air. There are so many that have gone off the air that were on for decades. I forget what they were called. I forget what they call that. But not a generational soap because they were on for many generations. But, you know, I'm not sure which one will be the first one. And if it's one I watched, don't be surprised if when I talk about it or I talk about some of the characters, don't be surprised if I cry, because I absolutely have loved soap operas since I was a kid. And, you get to know these characters. And like here, like with Beyond the Gates, those of us, if you're like me and you watched it since the beginning, these are our people now. And every day, we see them every day. And they become part of our lives. So when I talk about the old soaps, when I do the 5-minute, we'll call it a time capsule. How about that? We'll call it a time capsule. When I do the time capsule each week at the end, it's going to be it might be emotional for me at some time, because I watched a lot of soap operas with my mom, and my mom is no longer here. So I can think of the things. I can remember coming home from work and my mom saying, Tim, this happened or that happened on All My Children or on One Life to Live, or, Ryan's Hope. I remember watching Ryan's Hope when I was home from school. I came home at lunch maybe, and I would watch Ryan's Hope with my mom. It was on at 12:30. Though, those are times you don't forget, especially as you get older. But Beyond the Gates, that's our main thing here. And next week, it's going to be another great week on the show. It's going to be another great week on the best soap opera on television. If I can talk, it'll be the best, great week. Maybe the best week. It might be the best week. You never know. But I am so grateful to do this show every week. I love talking about soap operas. Two things I love talking about. I love talking about soap operas, TV, soap operas in particular, and I love talking about sports. Those are my two passions. They have been my whole life, and they will always be my two passions: soap operas, television, and, sports. So until next week, when we meet here, outside the gate, I hope everybody has a great week, and who knows, maybe I'll see you somewhere in Fairmount Crest.